friends. I thought for this video, and with it getting cooler outside, that it might be nice to show you how I make my bath salts or my bath soaps. Super simple, anyone can do this. It's literally just, I'm looking at 5 ingredients, and only 2 of those are necessary. The rest of them are just herbs that I have chosen specifically for myself. You could buy herbs from the supermarket and use supermarket herbs to make bath salts to help with various ailments or woes around the house. Bath salts are really helpful, and they're really a very relaxing way to get herbal medicine into your body without really having to do a whole lot, which is really cool. For example, when I have a headache, what I will do is draw myself a foot bath. Now we do have a bathtub, so what I do is put really, really hot water in the bottom of the bathtub, pour my bath salts in, and then just put my feet in. I will then circulate the water just to make sure that it is hot the entire time, because that is key. You want your water to be hot, as much as you can stand it. And I'll sit with my feet in this water bath for 15 to 30 minutes, sometimes up to an hour. It just depends on how bad I feel and how good the water feels. The idea of this is, if we've got, so for example with a headache, if I have a headache up here and I'm applying heat to my feet, it's actually drawing whatever is causing this headache. It's actually pushing it and drawing it down and out through your feet. With a normal run-of-the-mill everyday headache, using the right type of herbs, you can pretty much help your headache or alleviate your headache within the hour. Using this method, if you have a migraine, you may have to do more foot baths as needed, obviously, or as often as you would like to, and it may take a little bit more. Migraines are a little bit harder than your everyday run-of-the-mill headache. So let me show you what I'm doing. I'm just going to show you real quick what ingredients I'm using before I change the camera, and show you my method. There's no measuring. With this kind of stuff, I don't like to measure. I really like to measure with my heart. And I like to sit with the plants that I think I'm going to use first and just sort of get an idea of whether or not these plants are the ones that I want to use in my bath salt. And I'll do that a couple ways. I'll smell them, I'll look at them, I'll grab them, run them through my fingers, and really just let the plants tell me whether or not they're a good fit. And you'll know. It's just one of those intuitive things that you do. So, all right, let me show you my ingredients. So the first ingredient that we have here is just an Epsom salt bag that I purchased from Amazon. It's distributed by Amazon. You can find this on Amazon. I got 3 bags for maybe $15. Those 3 bags have lasted me. I bought this last year, so it's lasted about a year. I bought it around this time to make my winter solstice bath salts. The next one is some sweet almond oil. Now, I use sweet almond oil mostly as a preservative in a lot of my other kinds of products, but sweet almond oil is great for your skin, super nourishing, and I would like to incorporate that into the bath salt that I'm making for myself. And I'll get into why I'm using or why I'm making this particular bath salt for myself once we get into it. My next ingredient is lavender. I am using English lavender from Mountain Rose Herbs. I am a wholesaler with Mountain Rose Herbs. They are my preferred herbal retailer. I studied under Rosemary Gladstar, and I say that like bless her. But I'm doing her online program, and I have followed her throughout her career that I know of. She's been around way longer than I have, so it's just things that I've retroactively looked at. She's amazing. I highly recommend Rosemary Gladstar. She's the grandmother of modern herbal medicine, has great resources. She's really inspired me with the supermarket herbalism, which we are going to dive more into February. Mountain Rose herbs. Alright, so the next ingredient that I'm going to use are red rose petals. These also came from Mountain Rose herbs. I like rose petals. And then the third ingredient are these sage flowers. These sage flowers that I harvested from my common salvia plant last year. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with these flowers, but I think this is the perfect use for them. So I'm excited. Okay, so let's get going. Let's get naked. All right, so I have this bowl. I purchased this bowl from Goodwill a couple of years ago. I really like it. I try to get most of my glassware from places like Goodwill just to keep them out of the landfill and to not purchase new. If I don't have to purchase new, I would rather not. We're going to start with the Epsom salt first. And like I said, I don't measure, especially when it comes to the bath salts. And it's okay. You don't have, if you're making herbal remedies and products for yourself and for your own family, which I highly encourage you to do, getting to know plants that can easily support your family's wellness is definitely important. Apparently this is a giant block of Epsom salt right now. So give me a sec, I'm going to break this up. A lot of baths, especially when we're sick or not feeling very good, hopping in the bath is one of the first things that we do. Excuse me. Alright, so I'm going to go with the lavender first. I think I'm going to use lavender as our base. I personally right now need calming herbs. I need herbs that are going to embrace me. I need herbs that are going to support my heart and help me through some difficult parts of this season. I actually, over on my personal page, I am doing a series called Mask Off Mondays, where we put masks on. So I put on a Dead Sea mask, and did some talking about my feelings yesterday, and it brought up some more feelings. It brought up some memories of my past, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I think I've done so much running from my past, and I tend to use sarcasm to hide my true feelings. I do not communicate well when it comes to those areas, and part of this Mask Off Monday that I did yesterday really brought up some feelings and some thoughts. One of them being needing support. Before Jake and I had our beautiful love affair, I was in fact married previously. He was as well. And without going into too much detail, because who wants to air their dirty laundry on the socials? Not me, but it is applicable to this bath salt that we're making tonight. But before we met, I was in a pretty unhealthy marriage, to the point where I did in fact end up hospitalized at one point. Not for anything physical, it was mostly mental. I essentially had a nervous breakdown, couldn't handle the stress of that relationship anymore. And while he was on like an educational, he was doing something like some kind of schooling. I don't even remember what it was because it was so long ago. But while he was away for school, we had, goodness, I can't get this rose. I'm working on rose while I'm telling you this story. But while he was away, we had some spats. We were not living our best lives. And there was a conversation that was had that our marriage was not going to last. I had some, just to put it blankly, I was feeling super unsafe, and I did not feel like I had anyone around me to not necessarily take care of me, but be in my corner. And that moment when I arrived at the hospital and I was sitting there with one of his officers, and realizing that I had zero support in the marriage that I was in, and zero support for my mental health, and there was a huge possibility that this relationship could take my life, I realized that I never wanted to be in that position again, that vulnerable position again. And I don't want anyone else to be in that position and also feel unsafe and feel like they don't have a place to go, or they can't get out of situations or relationships that are in fact completely unhealthy. Long story short, that's when I decided to move Zoe and I back to Indiana, where I'm from. And from there, we adopted Sadie and we met Jake. But like I said, the conversations that I was part of yesterday for the Mask Off Monday really reminded me of my why. Like, why do I do the things that I do? And it's that. And that's just one moment out of many moments that I could share with you of feeling unsafe or unloved, unprotected, unsupported. And I guess that's where my relationship to the plants came from. You know, because when you're alone and you don't have anyone to talk to, there's always the plants, there's always the trees, there's always, you know, those higher beings that are out there to provide guidance and support and love. And so really that's what I'm looking for right now. That's what I'm looking to support and bring into my life at this time. And that's why I chose the plants that I chose for this bath salt. The lavender is I feel like lavender is a masculine plant. It is soothing, it's calming, but it's soothing and calming in a way where lavender wants to take care of you. It's going to hold you in its embrace, and it's going to rub your hair as you fall asleep, and be that foundation, which is why I've added it as the foundation to this bath salt. Then I've added the rose, and the rose is all about your heart and your heart space and this beautiful red color. And while lavender is helping me feel confident and like I have a firm foundation and feeling good about myself, rose is going to come in and just mother me up and make me, and really bring that beautiful feminine energy in of it's okay to feel your feelings. It's okay to have felt in that moment unsafe and unsure about what life's gonna look like moving forward. It's okay to feel embarrassed. It's okay to feel betrayed by someone who you wanted to make a life with. And it's okay later on to still have those feelings and be in a healthy relationship with someone who does provide or bring all of that like healthy love into your relationship. Now, the last ingredient that I added in here was the sage flowers. And sage to me is a very protective herb. I feel like sage goes in, and at least on my property, sage is one of our guardian plants. It is evergreen all year round and provides beautiful structure for the garden, as well as protecting little plants throughout the season, whether that be through shade or protecting them underneath their branches during the wintertime. So I've added sage in here to sort of be our guardian plant as lavender and rose really get in there and help me open up my heart space. Alright, so the very, very, very last ingredient that we're going to add to the bath salt, because nothing screams luxury like hopping out of the bath with nice creamy skin that has been properly oiled. So nice. It's got that really beautiful rose floral smell. Excuse me. But then you've got that minty lavender as well. So like I said, this is super easy. Anyone can do it. It's literally 2 ingredients, well 3 ingredients counting your herbs. It's your Epsom salt, it's your oil of choice. I choose sweet almond oil. I like it. I get it in bulk for preservation stuff, so I always have it on hand. You could use olive oil, you could use sunflower oil, you could use whatever it is that you prefer, jojoba oil, cannabis oil, like literally the sky's the limit. And then you can get your herbs from the supermarket. They have rosemary. There are places where you can get those fresh herbs. And if you're looking for maybe something that you can't get at the grocery store, keep us in mind. I do have a stock of herbs that we grew and dried, as well as, again, I am a wholesaler of Mountain Rose herbs, so I can provide you with really any kind of herb that you need like fairly quickly. Alright y'all, I'm gonna get this all bagged up and ready to go, put in our bath, And then I should have a couple of bags left over should anybody, which I know you're going to want it because it's real good. But if you would like a sample of this bath salt, I'm happy to send it your way, especially if you're needing some heart healing right now. Holidays get rough. It brings up lots of old feelings, this great dark night of the soul, shadow stuff. Like, this is the time, we're in the thick of it, and sometimes you just need some rose, sage, and lavender to help you work those feelings through. So, all right, blessings. I will see you guys on the flip side.